Your eyes adjust to the dim light of your home, but before you can even think about getting comfortable, it's time for work. You stand up stiffly, pulling on your worn-out tunic and leather belt that holds an array of tools, including a rusted iron key, your symbol of authority tonight. Scene: you gripping the lantern tightly as you step outside into the cold night air. You are now Florence's night watchman. The streets below are silent, except for the distant barking of dogs and the occasional clank of metal on cobblestone from wandering thieves. It's like Uber, but with horses and plague. Scene: a moonlit view of Florence's ancient buildings towering over you. But here's the thing. Who do you work for? The merchant class rules this place, not the common folk. You're the eyes and ears of their city at night. And that means your job is both important and terrifyingly lonely. Scene: the cold wind whipping around you as you walk through narrow, winding streets. The city never sleeps, but doesn't mean it's kind to its guardians. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, your first task is to patrol the Arno River, checking for smugglers and potential fires that could ruin entire neighborhoods. Scene: a view of the dark river stretching out ahead. You tighten your cloak as a chill runs down your spine. This night is about more than just watching. It's about survival. You know you're not there to stop crime, but to report it before it escalates, because that's all before breakfast. Scene: an old bridge creaking underfoot, but here's what nobody expected. Your day doesn't end at sunrise with a nice pat on the back and a thank you note from your boss. Oh no. Your real troubles begin as soon as you start. You'd think it was just about keeping watch. Maybe it's avoiding the city dogs that are just waiting for an opportunity to steal something from you. Actually, it's more like dodging curses from angry Florentines who hate night noises and lights disturbing their sleep. And that's all before your first encounter with a real, criminal, and experienced thief who knows exactly how to play this game of cat and mouse. Scene: a dark alley narrowing. As you approach, you pull out your iron key, knowing it's the only thing between you and the city's chaos tonight. But probably not. Because in Renaissance Florence, everything changes when the sun sets. And for night watchmen like you, that change isn't exactly glamorous. Scene: a sudden shadow darting across the alleyway. You pause, heart pounding as you try to decide if this is just your imagination or something more sinister lurking in the shadows. But here's the real kicker. You won no awards for bravery tonight. You're just another faceless figure trying to keep Florence from burning down while hoping nobody notices you at all. And now, with every step deeper into the night, you start to wonder if this job was ever worth it until something catches your eye in the distance. A faint light flickering from behind a closed door, a sign that someone might be up late, or worse, sneaking around. Scene: the light growing brighter as you approach. So what happens next? Will it just be another uneventful night patrolling the streets of Florence, or will this light lead to something much darker and far more dangerous than you could ever imagine? So what happens next? Will it just be another uneventful night? Or will something else ruin your day? But here's the thing. As you follow the suspicious movement with your lantern, something catches your eye. A small package dropped from above. You know Sherlock Holmes, but this isn't just any old parcel. You'd think it was some kind of contraband goods. Maybe a secret letter between rival families. Actually, it turns out to be neither. Everything changed when this little furry corpse landed at your feet. Your job just got way more complicated and dangerous. You're not just keeping watch for bandits now. You've stumbled into something much darker. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, the townsfolk start asking about this mysterious delivery. Suddenly, everyone is on edge, wondering what else might come with the next night's watch. You can almost feel them sizing you up, deciding whether this rat was an omen or just another oddity of Florence's nightlife. But here's what nobody expected. You realize it's time to face your superiors about this bizarre turn of events. You're sweating under the layers of wool and leather armor, your breath fogging up the air in front of you like a malfunctioning HVAC system. You knock on the door to speak to the Signoria, the council who rules Florence. The room is dark and cool inside, filled with the musty smell of parchment and candle wax. You explain your dilemma about the fire that never was. The councilman nods solemnly, but their eyes dart to one another suspiciously. They dismiss you without any answers, sending you back out into the cold night air like they're done playing nice for now. But here's the thing. Everything changed when the councilmen start talking about suspicious activities. Suddenly, your job isn't just about watching fires, it's about catching criminals and spies. You begin to notice strange symbols scrawled on walls, hear hushed conversations in the dead of night, and see figures darting through the streets. You're not just keeping an eye out for fires anymore. You're now a detective for Florence's shadowy underworld. But here's what nobody expected: your superiors decide to assign you a partner. However, your new partner isn't the helpful type you might expect. He is more like a watchdog than a friend. He shadows your every move and seems to be waiting for you to make one wrong step. The tension between you is palpable, but it's not just about trust issues, it's also about the strange new tasks they keep giving you. It starts small, following certain people around town, but escalates quickly to more dangerous missions. You're told to follow a mysterious figure through the night, but just as you're about to catch up, he disappears like smoke in the wind. You blink, and he is gone, leaving behind only a note that reads, "Deliver this message by dawn." You climb onto rooftops to deliver messages faster than foot traffic, but the real danger is not just in delivering them, it's figuring out what they mean. Each night you risk more and uncover less. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, your partner reveals a secret that turns everything on its head. He confesses to being part of a rival faction trying to destabilize the city from within. But here's the twist. He drops his weapon and falls to his knees, begging for mercy. But before you can react, another figure appears out of nowhere: your real enemy, or a potential ally. The truth is about to be revealed, but just as the air grows thick with tension, a hand clamps down on your shoulder from behind. A hand clamps down on your shoulder from behind. You whirl around to see a cloaked figure mouthing urgent words through the shadows. "Follow me," they hiss, tugging you into an even darker backstreet. The cold stone of the ancient Florentine buildings presses in like walls of a dungeon. You follow them deeper into the night, your heart pounding like a drum against your chest. Your leather shoes crunch on gravel as if announcing your arrival to anyone within earshot. But here's the thing. Night watchmen weren't just guarding the city. They were also enforcers of a strict code of silence and obedience. If you questioned too many things or made too much noise, there was always someone ready to remind you of your place. The figure leads you into an underground meeting room where several other watchmen sit around a table. Maps of the city sprawl out across it like a game board filled with hidden dangers and secret missions. "Tell us what you've seen tonight," one man says, his eyes sharp as razors under the flickering candlelight. You recount your patrol in a voice that shakes more than you'd like to admit. "And have you noticed something strange about our city lately?" Another asks, leaning closer. The air is thick with tension and secrets. "You mean besides the rats and crime?" "No," you say, trying to joke but failing miserably. But here's what nobody expected. As night falls, something sinister begins to stir in Florence. Rumors spread like wildfire whispers of a new guard who doesn't just watch the city, he controls it. And you can feel that power watching from the dark corners. The streets are alive, but only with fear. People hurry past, eyes downcast, or darting nervously between buildings. It's like being in a horror movie where everyone knows something you don't. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse. The night watchmen aren't just protecting the city from criminals, they're also policing its secrets and ensuring that certain truths remain hidden forever. You duck into a nearby tavern, hoping to catch some rest. But as you sit down at an old wooden table, eyes follow you like flies. The air is thick with the scent of stale beer and smoke, but there's something else to fear. You'd think it was about protecting the city, someone says under their breath. Maybe they're just making sure no one talks out of turn. Actually, it's neither. Night watchmen are messengers for a secret society with its own set of rules and punishments. The city itself might be beautiful on the outside, but underneath is a labyrinth of shadows and secrets. The night feels like it's closing in around you tighter than ever before. You feel the weight of this new knowledge pressing down, heavier than any sword or armor could ever do. Everything changed when you realized that the job wasn't just about keeping watch over the city, it was about guarding its darkest secrets too. You step out into a quiet courtyard, ready for another night of patrol. But as the cool wind rustles through ancient stones, you can't shake off the feeling that something far worse than bandits is watching from the shadows. But as the cool wind rustles through ancient stones, you can't shake off the feeling that something seen, moonlit streets of Renaissance Florence, quiet and deserted, is about to change. It's like being on the verge of a revelation, but forgetting what question you wanted answered in the first place. The night air is crisp, carrying the scent of wood smoke and distant church bells. You've walked these same streets countless times, patrolling for threats that rarely materialize. Tonight feels different, though. The city seems to whisper secrets as you pass by, whispers that might just be your imagination playing tricks in the dark. But here's what nobody expected. As you turn another corner, a figure emerges from the shadows. It's not an enemy. It's one of your fellow watchmen, looking just as weary. "What are you doing out so late?" he asks, his voice barely above a whisper. You shrug, returning the question in kind. You've seen this city grow from a cluster of wooden huts into the marvel it is now, stone by polished stone. But in those early days, when Florence was still young and wild, life was harder, much harder. It's like being a pioneer in a world that hasn't even figured out indoor plumbing yet. It's funny how quickly things can change. One minute you're standing in the shadows with only your fellow watchmen for company, and the next, you're back among people, albeit in the early hours before most of them are fully awake. It's like stepping out of one world into another, both worlds coexisting but rarely overlapping. And perhaps that's the strangest part. Not that they live this way, but that we forgot they ever did. As you stand there watching the world wake up around you, it feels like a secret has been revealed, not just about Florence's past, but about your own connection to it. And now, as dawn breaks and the city awakens once more, you're left with one final thought. What other secrets are hiding in the shadows of history, waiting for us to discover them?